Hello guys, welcome to this new video. In today's video I'm going to explain what type of materials I use for my tag. So I use a lot of different materials for my tag, for making tutorials of course, and I just need a lot of materials and I'm just going to explain it all from rope halters to a complete tag set. So I'm just going to explain it all, leather, fabric or anything else you can think of, I will explain. So already, thank you guys for watching. Give this video a like, give my channel a subscribe, click on the notification bell to never miss a video again, and comment down below what you want to see for the next video. If you have any questions, just ask and I can make a video about the subject. So just ask in the comments, what do you want to know? And I will get into it. So thank you guys and let's get started. So guys, I'm going to explain all of these materials that I use and just grabbing something. This is a wire. This is the 0.5 wire. I can't show everything, but I have two other wires as well, the 0.3 and the 0.8 wire. This is the gold one. You can also use silver or copper, black, green, red, blue, all sorts of colors are available. And this is a wire that I frequently use for buckles. All kinds of different buckles, and for thumb buckles I use the 0.3 millimeters. This is the one I use for bigger wire projects. So it's really handy to use, it's really bendable, and I really recommend buying these. Then we have a lot of ribbon. This is 1.5 millimeter ribbon. It's really thin, and I also have the 3 millimeter ribbon. The 3 millimeter ribbon I use for blankets or saddle pads, like this one. I use the 3 millimeter, but I also use this one, the 1.5. Then I use leather. I have all kinds of different leather. I have real leather and I have fake leather. This is fake leather. I have real leather as well, where I need to use paint for it and stuff. I don't really use it as much as fake leather because I'm more experienced with fake leather and I'm less experienced with real leather. This is really a thick leather, so I need to scarf it down. It's really usable, it doesn't break easily, and it is really stretchy. So really good for a bridle where you need to pull the bridle over the horse's head. It can really be stretchy when you need to have that. But it's also really cool looking. It is matte leather and it looks really cool, really realistic actually, and I really use it a lot for halters, bridles, saddles, like this saddle. This is my most recent saddle and I made this out of fake leather. This is my most recent saddle of 2022. Now I'm going to do these. What is this? This is my knife. This is the knife where I work with for my leather. My leather is often too thick, so I need to scarf it down, and this is the knife I use. And this is also the knife that I make my leather lace with. It's really, you can really use this every day. Every day with tag making, if you use leather, you need to use this. And I also got these. These are the knives. This is a surgical blade and it comes in a box like this. Then you grab one and you need to pull the package apart, and then the knife is here inside. Be careful, be really careful. What I do is I grab my pliers and I will open it and I will put it on the knife. That's how I do it, so I don't cut my fingers and cut leather lace with it. I also use a ruler with it to cut leather lace. I use a metal ruler because the metal ruler, when you go with the knife against it, you will sometimes go a little bit over it, and if you have a plastic ruler, you will damage your ruler so much that you can't use it anymore. So I have a metal ruler. It won't be effective as a plastic ruler does. So really useful. I can really work with these to make leather lace and to make a saddle or something else with it. After that, I'm going to scissors. I have here two types of scissors, a all-purpose scissor and a fabric scissor. It's really important. If you like to use a all-purpose scissor, it's really good to use. You can use it for all kinds of things, like for paper, threads, fabric, leather, and some other kinds of stuff. So why do you need a fabric scissor? Well, a fabric scissor is really sharp and cuts really fast through fabric, and fabric is sometimes, well, not so good to cut with a normal scissor. So I use a fabric scissor. This is a really small one, but works really fine, really nice and great. So I really recommend buying these. These are expensive, so if you are a beginner tag maker, just use this scissor, a normal scissor from the dollar store or something. Doesn't matter if it's really cheap or a really expensive one. It will be a all-purpose scissor, and the fabric scissor is only used for fabric. Then a pencil. I use a fine liner, but you can also use a normal pencil. But if you are going to work with fabric, I would recommend using a fine liner. Then we go to pliers. These are my most used pliers that I got. Yeah, I got a flat mouth plier. This one is really great to use to hold something or to really clamp it on really tight, and it's really, I use it a lot, almost every day, to hold some things, for the other plier to work on it, or just to tighten it, straighten it. Really handy, really useful. If you are a beginner tag maker, just buy this plier. You can buy these two if you are an experienced tag maker. If you really want to buy more stuff for tag making, if you're really good, beginning good at it, and if you want to continue. If you are a beginner tag maker, I recommend only buying this one. This one is to cut things. This is the one that I cut my wire with while I am bending the wire. It's really useful to have this because you can cut your wire easily with this one. You can also, if you are a beginner tag maker, use your all-purpose scissor. It is really nice. It works really well as well. I did even do that with a normal scissor cutting wire. It works. It does work. So after a while I got my cutting pliers, and I have still used them since. So these are a few years old but still work. Yay! Good. And then the round nose pliers. This is the pliers where you can, as a beginner, really begin with. This one is really handy, and you will use them every day. Because with everything you make, well, except for a saddle pad, almost with everything you make, you need this one. Because every buckle or every jump ring that you need to make, you can use this one for it. So if you use the smallest size, you can make a really small buckle. If you use a bigger size, you can make a bigger jump ring. After that, we have fabric. This is felt. You can also use different fabrics, thinner fabrics. This is pretty thick. I guess this is 0.5 millimeter thick. And this is really handy to use for, well, of course, saddle pads, but also blankets. After this is a piece of can. If you have some cans laying around in your house, use this. This is really sharp, so if you are a little bit younger, I don't really recommend it. You need protective glasses or protective gloves for you not to damage your hands or your eyes. I really recommend using protective gear. So where do I use can for? Well, that's easy to explain. When I make saddles, well, how do you get a saddle seat like this one? Well, a piece of can, you can bend it in all kinds of ways, and it will stay that way. So you really need to use that for your saddle. I use that for my saddle seat and for my knee pads. My knee pads need can material in them as well. So I really use those, and it's really handy to use, and you can just recycle it from your home. You don't need to buy these. So yeah, really easy, and you can make a lot of saddles out of one piece of can. We have glue. I use a lot of types of glue. I have two here. What do I recommend? Creation glue is really good for textile, and it really works on fabric and other stuff, but you need to let it dry for a few hours straight, because otherwise it won't be glued on well and it will let go of the fabric. So that's just one to keep your watch on, that it glues in place and well. After that, I use my bison kit, and this is a really well glue. I recommend it for all tack makers. If you can buy these, buy these. I use a small glue tubes, and I don't really use the bigger ones. The bigger ones are really clunky and big, and it's just too big, and a lot of glue comes out of it, so you lose a lot of glue, and it's just a big no for me. But I use the smaller ones, and these don't really lose a lot of glue, so it's really handy to use. But if you can only reach the bigger ones, it's fine, you can use it, but I will recommend the smaller ones. So this glue is really handy. It really dries fast, and you can use it for all sorts of things. I use it for fabric, for thread, for leather, ribbon, paper, all sorts of things. Even on my can, I use this glue. So it's really handy to use. It dries fast and it's really strong. The other glue I recommend is a Velpon glue. It's really strong as well. It has the same, it has a bit of the same of this one. It glues the same. It dries the same. It is the same strength. So I really recommend the bison kit or the Velpon glue. After that, we are going to my needle cushion, and I use a lot of needles. I use a big one if I need to pull something through. I use smaller ones if I need to punch holes. And yes, you hear that right. I have a piece of leather here, and when I put my needle onto it and grab my hammer, I have a baby hammer, and my baby hammer, if I push this, you will get a nice hole here. So I really recommend having needles, because you will use needles for a lot of stitch work. Like this saddle, it has some stitch work, and I've done this all with just a needle, and it's really handy, and I really recommend using this. Yes. Then in my needle cushion, I don't know why I have this. I guess it's easier, but yeah, fine. I have some studs. Yes, in my needle cushion there are some studs. Probably because I always forget my needle studs. This is really handy to use. It will get a nice realistic look on your saddles if you use a needle stud. Like on this one, you can make it more realistic. So really recommend buying these studs. Buy the smallest studs that you can find. It really needs to be small. This is just really handy. Here I have paper. You need a lot of paper, and I'm going to explain why. I am working on a saddle, and every time I make a saddle, I make it out on a paper pattern. So every saddle that I make is paper. Yes, and then I will use leather for it. If you use paper for it, you can adjust your pattern, and if you go straight for a leather pattern, you can't adjust your pattern. And with paper, it can. With paper, you can also keep it, and if you use leather, you cannot. Paper you can reuse every time again, and with some other materials you just can't. So I really recommend using paper, even though it's just a small piece of paper like these notes. It really works. Then string. I have two different kinds of string. I have a thicker one and I have a smaller one. The thicker one I really use for blankets, because blankets are really big, and I also use them for a bigger scale. Most of the time I make tack for Schleich, but I will make some tack for briar as well, and for briar they work really well if you use a thicker thread. For Schleich, most of the time I use embroidery thread. This is really thin and really strong, but you can also pull it apart. I want to show you a little bit. So now I have two. You really need this because if you are going to make a multicolor rope halter, you can pull this apart right in the middle, and you have to do it with the two colors. And if you have the two colors with each other, it becomes really thick. And if you split it in the middle, the two colors, and you put the two colors with them again, then you have a nice thin string. So really nice for using for rope halters or lead ropes. I really recommend using this. Here are some little beads. You can make these as a bit. So if you use these, and I have a lot, you can buy these at AliExpress. So yeah. You can use these for your bits. Do I have an example? I do, maybe. I do. Or not. Don't these? This one doesn't have it, but I can show you the bit of the bridle. This is a bit, and if you put a little bead on here and you really clamp it on and cut the excess off, it will look as a realistic bit. So I have got some more stuff. What do I have here? This is a real leather round lace, and this is really nice for you to use on your saddle to give it a nice realistic edge. And I've also used it on here at the front of the saddle. I used it. It's this little piece of leather here. This is a round lace leather, real leather, and this just gives it a really realistic edge. Then I recommend buying elastic band. And this is really a wide elastic band. Maybe you can buy them smaller. But I have the wide ones, really wide ones. Because I can cut them really small. If I use a really thin strap of elastic band, then I just cut the piece off that I want, and the rest of it I will leave it there. I don't throw away material, so I will reuse it again for another project. Clamps. This is a really strong clamp, and it just flew away. So I have it here again, and this is a clamp, and you need to use this as well if you want to let something dry but it doesn't want to stick to your project. You really need this to let it stick to your project, and I use it a lot. You really need to use it if you have some really hard projects. You can buy them everywhere, basically everywhere. And then I have tacky wax. Tacky wax is really handy for your miniatures. What it also says on here, wax adhesive for holding miniatures in place. So I'm going to open it, and this is how it looks like. What I do is I grab my knife and I put a little bit on my knife, and I will put it on the horse's mouth. You can hold your bit through there, but you can also hold the reins, maybe some stirrups as well, doll clothes, handy things in their hands or in the horse's mouth, really fun things like Valentine's cards and stuff, or carrots, apples, and yeah, it's just really nice to use these. Really recommend buying these, but if you don't have them, you just use a eraser, a sticky eraser, or a bendable eraser. It also works for the same projects. Then I have some decorations. These are all my decorations that I have, and these are the decorations I made myself, and these are the decorations that I bought from AliExpress. And I never use this because the thing is still closed up. I never use this, but I do really like them. I saw them somewhere and I thought I really need to use these. And these are nail decorations, so if you are on AliExpress and you search for nail decorations, you can buy a lot of these really sweet things. You can even buy sour candy on there for Christmas. Really cute, really fun. Really recommend buying these. If you are a beginner tag maker, just make the creations or the decorations yourself. If you are really beginning with tag making, I do those too, because I have here still a bag of my own made decorations that I still need to use but never do. So here's some Harry Potter. For the Harry Potter fans out there, a lot of different things in here. Stranger Things, Superman. I love Superman, I love superhero stuff. Harry Potter, Avengers, Happy Birthday. So if someone is has a birthday and they order from me, you will get something with Happy Birthday on it. I can assure that you will get something with Happy Birthday on it. So other things for decorations, I recommend looking on Modelhorses or Riorondo. Riorondo and Modelhorses have these bits, and these are made out of metal, and these are specially made for model horses. So you can make even your tag more realistic through buying these realistic bits. And I have them in all kinds of shapes and forms, like hackamores and real hackamores, cabbage bits, hunter bits, pelham bridle, pelham bits like that, and just some easy other bits as well. You can even buy buckles on there. I just don't recommend that because the buckles you can make themselves, but if you really want to, you can also buy them on there. So these were all the products or all the material stuff that I use. Really watch for yourself what you want to use or what you really want to use. And if you're a beginner tag maker, please know that all materials that I use are from experience. I'm making tag for a lot of years now, and I really want to continue to making tag. And if you're just beginning and if you're just a few months busy with making tag, really think about, am I going to continue? Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope that you found it a really useful video to watch it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Give this video a like, give my channel a subscribe, and click on the notification bell to never miss a video again. And comment down below what you want to know for the next video or just a tutorial. I got a tutorial planned. It's a rope halter, so just a little bit of a sneak peek there. So this is the next video. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you with a next video.